Hello, my name is Elaine Salter, and I'm coming to you from my living room. I'm creating this video in hopes to be able to help out in times of stress. We're finding ourselves in a position where we've never been before as a society and as individuals. There's no um, examples of moving forward in this kind of stress because it's unprecedented, right? So there's a lot of unknown. And when there's a lot of unknown, we as human beings tend to operate in fear. And so this video is to be able to help with some options. So one of the tools in the toolbox under stress is to be able to breathe. Breathing brings back into the brain the oxygen that needs to happen in order to be able to respond instead of react. Often, when we get stressed out, we tend to hold our breaths. So, our body gives us cues, right? So, sometimes a jaw will be tightened, or sometimes people start holding their fists together, or they'll make hand movements. Sometimes people just like hold on to their head, trying to think because, it's hard to be able to grab onto our thoughts when we're holding our breath and we don't even realize it. So when we start getting some body cues, it's really a good idea to take the time to just stop and breathe for a second. And, it really does look like that. It just, I need to take a minute, right? And I just say it out loud, and it helps to reset um, our emotional well being. So just simply, hey man, I need a second. Putting our hand up, it's a physical barrier and a visual cue to people around us that, you know what, I need to have a second. Often we aren't taught these skills. It's like it's supposed to be passed on automatically, which it's kind of nonsense. It's funny how that happens a lot. Um, it's just supposed to be like you know it already, which that's not how it works. Um, Another tool to aid in being able to reduce stress is to be in the moment. So that is tricky too. A lot of times we're operating in the future where fear exists because we're thinking about what's going to happen, and our the brain kind of runs the show sometimes. And that whole future tripping, nobody ever knows what's really going to happen in the future until we get there. So that's the present. Um, and then the other thing that happens to human beings is the brain will take them back in the past. And so we'll be operating in dread or guilt, shame. And so those thoughts rob us of our here and now as well. And then we're reactive again, right? We're going back out of our health into a place of lower functioning and reaction. The trick to being in the here and now is to, again, take a good deep breath. I like to wiggle my toes. I like to feel the ground beneath my feet. And that's a body cue for me to bring my thinking present into the room I'm at. So if I take a deep breath and close my eyes, I immediately drop my blood pressure, my heart rate goes down a little bit, and I have a sense of relaxation. When I feel my feet underneath me, I can feel the solid floor that I have. I can hear the clock ticking behind me. I can feel the coolness of the room. It's a gentle room. When I open my eyes, I can, look around the room and I can see the beauty that's in this room. There's some beautiful plants. Outside, I can see the trees. And that really does help to calm my mood. I can even hear my dog breathing. All of that is here and now. And I can have a sense of peace because my innate being is connected to myself. And that's my higher consciousness, right? Um, and I allow that presence to come into the room. All is really well. And so tapping into that helps me. Another really good tool, and it's free, right? All of this is free. It just takes a minute, takes some time. And so that's the cost, right? Is um, the energy it takes to stop and be present. One of the things that helps to bring joy into my heart is doing a gratitude list. What's a gratitude list, right? So if I take a minute and I be with what is right in the situation right now, I can list off things that make my heart feel joy. So what's good in the situation around me? What is actually favorable and makes my heart dance? Those are the questions to ask when I'm going to start listing a couple of things that brings me joy. So one of them is my dog, right? I am blessed with this being that loves me dearly, and um, I am so very grateful that I get to have this dog in my life. I've only had him for a few months, and he's precious. Um, the fact that I have a nice warm place to be, I'm grateful for that. Um, I'm grateful for, the clothes that I get to wear. I'm grateful that I have, um, you know, I have this body that I get to take care of that serves me well. I am grateful for the friendships that I have, for the people who call me and check in and to see if I'm okay. For the people that are of service around me and the people that I get to check in on and care about. I'm grateful that I have water to drink. I'm grateful that I have glasses so that I can see. All of these are precious to me. Some people might think they're trivial, but they're important to me. So a gratitude list is just your business. It really doesn't matter what other people think of what makes you happy. It's what makes you happy. It could be as simple as seeing beautiful colors around you. It could be a smell of a flower. That's all really personal. And so I would encourage you to do a gratitude list once a day, especially when a person's feeling down and out. Gratitude lists can bring energy boosts. They can, bring in the good feelings into our brains and push out the feelings that are frustrating and, um, really lifts the dopamine and the serotonin levels in our brain, which brings the good feelings to us instead of having them depleted. So, gratitude lists are awesome. They just take a minute. We can list off, special people in our lives, people that have taken the time to show us how precious we are. Um, we can list off our favorite foods. We can list off, um, just anything that brings you joy. Yeah. So those are three tools that I'm hoping uh, will be helpful. So one is being in the here and now. Two is breathing, taking the time to just get the blood flowing back into our brains so that we can have some pause time and speak out loud that we need a minute. It just buys us some time in order to recapture our strength and our courage, and the ability to move forward. And then gratitude list. Okay, so I wish you well. Be safe. Make sure you're staying 6 feet away from your next person. Wash your hands for the 20 seconds that they talk about, and really get your fingertips and your thumbs, and make sure you're really washing that virus away if you have it on your hands, and not be touching our face. Um, and again, let's beat this, and we are not alone. Together we can.